Executive Producer and Showrunner Audrey Morrissey. Wardrobe and Costume Designer Erin Hirsh. Co-Executive Producer Brittany Martin Porter, who actually started as Audrey's assistant. Performance Producer HiHat. Executive Producer Amanda Zucker. Department Head of Hair Jerilynn Stephens. Executive Producer Kyra Thompson. And last but not least, Supervising Casting Producer McNulty. Thank you, everyone, for joining today. I know this crowd has been lining up for hours, and everyone's so excited to hear from you. So I'm excited to dig in, and we're going to start with our craftspeople. Michelle, all the way at the end, you seem really far, but yeah. We're going to start with our supervising casting producer, and let's take a look at what Michelle does.
Well, we could do some auditions right now. No.
My younger brother, Shaw, at the age of 7, was diagnosed with leukemia.
It was a long battle, but I'm here now, and I'm thankful to be seeing her sing today.
My wife Nicole and I are expecting our first child. I want my baby girl to know if she follows her dreams, that everything else will follow her. So I figured I guess I better lead by example.
Maybe you'll be sorry. Let it rain. I've never felt this way for no one.
I got diagnosed with vitiligo. The little spot that was on his temple, I told him, that's a kiss from your grandmother, giving you the stamp of approval that she's proud of you, Bryson.
I look into your eyes.
Pretty little boy's
Basically, Michelle makes us cry, makes us laugh, makes us scream at the TV. And like so many on this panel, you've been with the show since season 1.
I have since season 1.
Tell us about your journey on the show and your role.
Yeah, so I am the head of casting for the show. I find all of those singers on the show, and it's not just me, it's my entire casting team who I need to give a huge shout out to. I love, adore, and have such amazing respect for them. One of the things that I think is really exciting about my casting team is actually that I'm proud of is that they're incredibly diverse, and I mean that in ages, walks of life, what they do when they're working with me outside of their, casting job. And I think that's really important because you end up having diversity in your team, you end up having diversity on the screen. And I think we have done that in the singers that we have found since season 1 all the way up until season 27. 27.
It's a shocking number.
Yeah.
It's
wild.
Yeah, so you talked just now about the through line that you've had since day 1. What has changed about the process over the years?
So there's 2 ways in which we always find singers. So it is, there's a lot of different ways, but 2 main ways. So all the team does their own outreach and recruiting of singers, and then we also do big giant open calls. Before the pandemic, we were out on the road probably 6 months out of the year, seeing people in those big giant open calls. Since the pandemic, we've switched over to doing virtual open calls. And the recruiting and those open calls is how we find these incredible singers. The other thing that we like to do is we like to do pop-up auditions at different venues. across the country. We just did some at Old Red. We did something down in Manhattan Beach. And then we do a lot of open mics as well. But finding these singers is the joy. I mean, I always think about Javier Colon, who was season 1, hearing that voice for the very first time. That set the tone for the show. And I have so many auditions in my head that run through, from Daniel Bradbury to Paxton Ingram, which sounds so random because he did a tilt in his audition the very first time. Britton Moore, who's on the show currently. That kid, I have known him since he was 16. I think he's now 18 because he kept auditioning. But every time we would get to a certain point, he'd be like, oh, baseball. He's a big baseball player. And the state championship was coming up, so he'd have to drop out. And then I would reach out to him again and be like, Britton, come on, let's audition. This is going to be your season. Yeah.
And he was a 4-chair turn.
He was. Yeah. I love that little Britton Moore. Oh.
The talent's really the best of the best on this show, and I'm not just saying that, I mean it. But with all these amazing vocalists coming through, what is that it factor for you when you're looking and casting?
Well, the one thing that the team is so great, we identify vocalists really, really well, but we end up spending hours and hours talking to these singers. We learn who's married, who's on tour, what new singles coming out, who's never sung before other than just for their moms. Like, we know so much about these singers, and we get very attached to them. Like, there are so many that are still, I mean, there's 2 very personal singers that I still have that mean so much to me that have auditioned for our show, but we get to know them so well, so that when we hand them over to all of these incredible women in all their departments, we know they're going to be taken care of in the same way that we have sort of worked with them and fallen in love with them. Yeah.
I really just want to add something quickly here, because I'd never done a music competition show before The Voice. And from season 1 on down to right now, so many of the people had tried out for other competition shows. They had had an experience. And they were stunned by how taken care of they were, down to, in other shows, they're given a number and they're referred to by a number, and we only refer to people by their names. They just felt so seen and personal, and that extra TLC, and it literally starts with Michelle and her team on down. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
It's true, absolutely true.
And next we are going to chat a bit more with HiHat, who's our performance producer. But let's take a look at what HiHat does.
I'm so confident. Let's just let it go. On the jump, on the run, I walk away. I'm the one, give it up what they gotta say.
HiHat, like many others, you've been here since season 1, right? Yeah.
Been here since season 1, and we developed a family. We've been a family for a long time. We're going on season 27.
How did you end up at The Voice? What was your trajectory to the show?
I started as a dancer and worked my way to a choreographer, and choreography also entailed artist development to creative directing. And so joining The Voice, I enjoyed the challenge because I had the background working with celebrities, different genres of celebrities, on their music videos, live stage show, award shows, and film as well. And so joining The Voice is a good challenge. Although I was working with different genres like pop artists, hip hop artists, and R&B, The Voice brought to me new genres like country. I went from HiHat to HiHat because I was Blake Shelton's performance producer and all the country artists and all the rock and roll artists and all the 60s classics. And so it's expand, maybe universal in my creativity.
What does your day-to-day look like on the show? It must be all-encompassing, and you're doing creative and trying to make everything not just look great, but also great for TV.
Well, the process is coming up with a creative concept. And you start with the music, well, who's singing it? So the genre of artists that we're gonna work with, the music dictates the creative. It might be something in the lyrics that inspires the creative. So the visual behind the artist, it's do they need a set design, or what kind of color lighting, the wardrobe they're wearing, the hair and makeup, screen content. We have beautiful screens, LED video in The Voice. So all of that takes for the performance of a contestant, and sometimes the celebrity performers that may not have a creative. We work on their staging, choreography, and creative concept.
Is there one that really sticks out where you're like, I nailed that, I'm so excited, I could watch it over and over?
I think the victory is seeing the contestant come from their living room and then they on this big stage, and then when they perform and it's great, that's why we're exciting for everybody. It's like, we did it, we all celebrate. I think when we brought Missy Elliott on the show, we had this amazing set design of subway and cars and lots of dancers, puppets, and that was incredible. That's a memorable one for me.
That was huge.
Yeah,
We all on my list.
I also want to reinforce the magic that HiHat does and the amount of time that we have, because we don't know what artists are moving on week to week. So she's given the information, who's moving on, the song, and it's like, okay, we're gonna pitch the creative tomorrow. You ready to go? So like, it's nonstop. The magic you make in a short amount of time. So we're ready for live shows the next Monday.
Yeah,
It's
they're
really
they're
impressive.
staying up like Tuesday night. They're up to like 1, 2, 3 in the morning. We have a creative meeting on Wednesday, and HiHat is. We have it out sometimes in the best way, just because HiHat will be like, I want 24 dancers and 17 musicians, and we had a tiger once on stage.
Oh yeah, the tiger didn't work out. The lighting and the sound.
We had it all. So sometimes it's like, okay, let's talk, let's figure out what we can do. But part of the magic is, like Brittany was saying, when HiHat does, it's like the speed of which we do it. I know this is Hollywood and anything can happen in Hollywood, but we have our creative meeting on Wednesday, and there's scenery rolling out on the stage on Saturday, and the guys didn't start working on it till Friday. So
Right.
to me, that's like.
And we don't get the music until Tuesday. We got to pitch the next day. So, and creating the treatment, the creative concept, and the treatment, it all takes, like I said, the music is inspiring. Sometimes we do covers, so I look back at the artists that did it before. So like, what's their music video? How many band members did they have on, and what kind of pieces did they have on to inspire and see how do we do it different for our show, The Voice. And so all that come to play, and once you get the treatment, you distribute it to each of the departments. Together as a team, we build to bring the vision to life.
But again, sorry, I want to add again, like, it is lightning fast, but to put it in context, I had the producer of the Grammys call me a few seasons in because he had interviewed, I think, our production designer or somebody from our team about working on the Grammys, and he was asking about our process, like, when do you get the songs? How fast is it? And when he heard it was literally a 7-day process, he didn't believe it, because for a big show like the Grammys, they'll prep for months. So it is shocking that we have this machine built with these incredible women and men. There are men on the show. But
we love them.
We do love them. But a lot of women just make it happen.
We could pick your brain forever. Thanks for that. And next, we have Erin Hirsh, who's our costume designer and basically makes everyone look and feel like superstars. So let's take a look at what Erin does.
can't get straight up silent. You were the best, you were the worst. As sick as it sounds, I loved you first. I feel like making dreams come true. You got
watching the evolution of confidence, and you can tell when they start feeling like superstars on stage, and obviously there's so much that goes into that, but one of them is what they're wearing and feeling and how comfortable they are. So tell me a little bit about your day-to-day and your role on the show.
Well, our role kind of evolves as the show progresses. So when an artist, when they first come in, we're it's a blank slate, and we're just learning like where they're from, what genre they sing, and some of them have a personal style. Some of them are like, I don't know. So it's just a conversation to learn, who they are and their likes and their dislikes. That plays a big part of it into like, oh, Jilly doesn't wear red, and you never get red, But as the show evolves, there's so many more elements at play, and like HiHat was saying, we're looking at this as an A&R process. So once the artists, make it off the show, we've packaged them up and done our job. But what goes into the show while we're there is, their personal style, their likes, their dislikes, the song choice. Is it a ballad? Is it, up-tempo? Because that really dictates movement and choreography. And then we have our creative meetings. We finish the show on Tuesdays, and we have a creative meeting on Wednesdays. I don't know how they do it, but it's a miracle. It's amazing. And then from there, we get the lighting and the staging, and it all comes together in that one meeting. And then we have our fittings, and somehow they're performing in a couple days.
And then you do it all over again.
We do it all over again. But the process, once we are live, is probably about a 24-hour process of turning it around.
What are the specific elements you love to play with in terms of a look and costume to really showcase someone's personality?
Well, it depends on the person. Movement on stage always works. Anytime someone's walking and there's something trailing, you can see a lot of fringe. We have a black stage, so anything, that's going to reflect the light, it just makes such a powerful statement.
Is there a look or a few even that come to mind that you're just so proud of?
Gosh, there's so many. I mean, first of all, I have an incredible team. Again, very diverse. So what we're able to bring together collectively, really, you get to see. A few that came to mind, it was like Juliet Sims.
Yes.
That was like, the Juliet Sims. Well, it's really funny going back. Like, remember, I'll never forget this. I remember getting a call from you before the show, because I had done mostly like pop stars and these like really avant-garde pieces, and you're like, can you do normal? And I was like, I think I can do normal. I can do normal, yes. And then we get Juliet Sims, who's like, I don't want to be normal. I was like, oh. So it was like, it was really fun to get to play, but she wore this red gown, and I made her this red cape, and I think we had a wind machine, right? And we had to make this cape blow, and it was such a powerful, it's, all these seasons later, it still sticks out.
I love that you collaborate. I would never, think so much of that. The wind machine is you, and the costume. Like, tell me more about that collaborative process between the departments.
Well, HiHat, generally, she has a lot of ideas. So she's like, I want like a 100-foot cape. You're like, okay. Okay, we'll work it out. So, or there will be a wind machine, or what else? Oh, we have a tearaway, a tearaway or reveal. So, we're working with the artists, we're working with the performance producers, and then the network and all the producers, and it all has to just all the pieces have to fit in a very short time.
I will say Erin's department has an amazing job too of making things stage worthy, so she could take a blazer and in a couple hours it's fully stoned and it's got jewels all over it, or we add satin, like she said, catch the light, which you don't really think about until you see it on stage. and it really like zhuzhes it up and makes it impactful.
A lot of artists in the beginning, when they come on, they're like, I don't wear sparkle. And they're like, this is the voice. And by the end, they're like, I need more.
Yeah, it takes a lot of convincing, right?
Yeah.
It takes a lot of convincing when they have their own style and you're like, okay, we think your style should be this. It takes
I think half your job is therapy too.
It is.
I was also going to say that too, because it's about making them feel comfortable enough in their skin and in their performance skin to really perform. And not for nothing, but there's every different shape and size that comes through our show, and some people are more comfortable and some people are more body conscious. It's just, to your point, therapy. There's so much that goes into the actual clothes, and we're trying to make them feel their best, to have the best shot to continue on. And everybody walks out there feeling like a star. Like by the time they hit there, like, yeah, it's incredible how you do that. Like the most uncomfortable, awkward people somehow are out there and like becoming beasts, like total performance animals.
Superstars,
Yeah.
Superstar.
Well, I think that what that is that we meet the artists where they're at. You know, wherever they're at, we're going to meet them there, and then we're going to help evolve their characters. So it's like we get, you know, we're growing their confidence in real time, and then you get to see that. And it's so amazing to be able to witness that in another human being.
Absolutely, and I would also say the coaches have a piece of this too. Sometimes a coach will have a certain thought for an artist, but then when they get in the privacy of being with Erin and Brittany and the others, they're like, I know they want me to do this, but I don't think I can pull it off. And it's that negotiation as well.
Definitely.
Talk them up,
Definitely.
I will also say, like, and maybe this is getting into like the beauty segment of this too, but there was this artist who started off on Blake's team, ended up on Gwen's. Gwen gave him a makeover, cut his hair, super styled him. She lost him back to Blake, and he won on Blake's team. But I'm telling you, he would have never won without Gwen's makeover, like, for sure.
Which is perfect segue into
Well,
Jerilynn.
I was just gonna say the therapy comes in my chair.
And Jerilynn heads up the hair department, and let's take a look at what Jerilynn, the magic she makes.
Pick yourself up off the kitchen floor. Tell me what you're waiting for.
Yes, I'm gonna make you mine.
This love I can be sure
And be simple.
as we walk in fields of gold. Just like you can
Jerilynn, you've also been with the show since season 1?
Yes. Season 1 I was a hairstylist, and then season 3 I became key hairstylist. Season 9 department head hairstylist, and still am season 27. That's incredible.
We saw so many beautiful looks. It truly is art, what you all do. What are the biggest challenges as you're getting these artists into your chair? And I'm sure everyone has their own feelings and ideas, and like you're a
Well,
therapist.
yeah, you always want to stick with what that artist feels comfortable with, and getting to know them, like Erin said, and you know, just helping them along the journey of who they want to be and how do they want America to see them. And then also teaching them along the way of how they can actually, do their own hair and their own makeup, because I know Darcy's not here, but she also feels the same way. We want to teach them how to do their own glam so that when they go out on their own, they're able to look their best and feel their confidence. And so by teaching them along the way to be who they want to be. So yeah,
And I read that there's over 100 artists who go through the blinds. How do you even handle that volume?
Well, the first, and the blinds, you know, it's we are supposed to just touch them up, but by their actual blind audition, that kind of is, you know, they expect more. But so they look very well, you know, put together for their blind audition. But as it progresses, we get to, you know, actually do them, and by the live, you know, the live shows is where we get to have a lot of fun, and you know, it's, you know, what's trending, what is the outfit, what does HiHat have going on. It's all about the song, and it's a big collaboration. And I think that I like to let the creative roll out, let the wardrobe roll out, and I'm always really flexible with the hairstyles, because for me that's the easy part. Like, I've got a stock full of hair, I've got a stock full of stuff, like I can roll with it. You know, it's like, well, okay, there's a wardrobe change, there's a collar, let's do the hair up, because this is something that is really going to look better with this costume. Like, I feel like the hair is easily changeable, and no matter what, you are going to look great, you know. So yeah.
Have there been any last minute malfunctions where you were like, we are 30 seconds to air, I have to fix this fell out?
I mean, yeah, it's all hands on deck. Like, we're a team player, we will have 3-4 people sometimes on a head. I mean, wardrobe, hair, makeup, like if I need somebody, like there's an extension falling out, like everybody get over
it's
here.
It's like surgery.
Yes. And I mean, it just happens. We make it happen.
What's your favorite part of this job? You've been doing that, you had this amazing trajectory. What kept you?
My favorite part is just being with people and making them feel good and helping them, you know, having the confidence and building them up and talking them through the discomfort and the insecurities and loving on them. And I think as women being on this show, and my kid was 3 years old when I, you know, started this show, and now he's 17, almost 18. It's like, as women, we have nurtured our own children, and now nurturing these people through this journey has made us softer. You know,
it's really interesting. Well, you all do such beautiful work, and we see it every week on the show, and I think it helps captivate all of us as we're watching. And yeah, like I said, the transformation of these artists is what I love to see every season. So congratulations, 27 seasons for all of you is absolutely amazing. Yeah. What I loved so far is how, like you said, it's been such a nurturing place, and obviously so much credit has to be given to the women who run the show season after season. Audrey and Amanda Zucker, Kyra, Brittany, and Brittany, you were Audrey's assistant, which I just love that, and how much mentorship must happen behind the scenes for that to happen. So with that said, let's see what our amazing showrunners do.
What are they going to show? I don't know. What do we do?
There's no clip?
All the previous clips of mine.
Just loved all the clips.
Should we act one out now? I'm tired.
You are every clip.
It's hard to quantify what we do.
You are every clip. Every clip
So
that
true.
just was
We'll claim
shown.
it all. We'll claim it all.
Well, I'm going to start by asking all four of you your roles and how long you've been on The Voice. I think it's all since the first 2 seasons, but Audrey, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I've been on since season 1. I got a call about the show like a week before Thanksgiving in 2010. And I think the show was actually casted, produced, on the air by April, which, again, if you understand the rhythms and timelines, that's extraordinarily fast for first season show. Yeah, a bunch of crazy Dutch people descended on LA and helped us through it. So yeah, it's been 13, 14 seasons. I too remember how old my son is because I adopted my son in the middle of casting for the first season and told nobody for a while. So he is 14. He just turned 14, so it's crazy.
And Brittany?
Oh, yes, hi.
Hi.
I started as Audrey's assistant, as you mentioned. So I have been blessed and lucky enough to have an amazing mentor who guided me through and allowed me to grow into this position, which I think speaks volumes to her character. But I oversee all of the stage elements, I guess you could say, performance, seeing them after Michelle passes them off, following them through rehearsals. I guess I could be like the assistant coach to the coaches, where I'm helping guide the artists through the entire process and what they want to represent and how they perform and what they look like when they perform. So yeah, performance and stage.
Amanda?
Hi. I came on late. I came in season 2.
That's late.
Yeah. I oversee the physical production of the show, so I help make sure the train is running on the track. I deal with the budget and the schedule and the calendars, and I just want to be a support to all the departments. So I work with all the departments, making sure they have what they need. And I was like joking about me and HiHat, and I love her to death, but that's her job, is to absolutely think completely outside the box. And that is why she's incredible at what she does. But it's my job if HiHat's asking for 25 dancers. Always. I don't ever want to say no. It's like, let's figure it out. Maybe we can afford 12 and we can steal 10 from another performance or some other performance producer. So always trying to like solve the problem is what I do, to try to just make sure everyone has what they need and, you know, everything lives on the screen.
Kyra?
Hi. I know I was also late to the party in season 2. But yeah, I mainly have focused on the overall creative, and I oversee all the production and shooting that's basically off the stage, all the rehearsals and reality and a lot of the little comedy bits and things that we do, and all of post-production, and work with an incredible team of producers and editors, some of whom are here over there. And they're incredible, and I think a lot of people, we hear so many times that people think the whole season is live, but it is not, and a lot of work and craftsmanship from people like them goes into that. So.
And it's incredible to see this lineup of women. Obviously we're celebrating the women of The Voice, but to see so many women in top positions, leading departments, and to see like the fact that you all have been here for 26, 27 seasons, that is so rare. Tell me about having this longevity and having all these amazing women to support each other and be part of the show.
I'll jump in on that. I get asked that often, and not that I'm surprised by it, but truly, I have always had women bosses. I've always been in environments when women were the leaders of the companies. I started at MTV, and yay! It was run by women. I mean, I've really known nothing different my entire professional career. Not that this was planned by design, but it just so happens here we are. I love working with women. Not that I don't love working with men. I love both, but I just find women super collaborative and just kind of bottom line it. Like, how do we get to the end zone fast? Like, I don't care if it's me giving a bit or you giving a bit, like, who cares? But we gotta get there. And we do. It's like really just like a non-issue. So I love it. I'm very pro-women. I'm very proud of everybody here and all these beautiful people over there. Like, it's just great. So yeah, we're all, I mean, best job ever by far.
100%.
Yeah, I think we were saying, I think at a certain point too, it certainly was not intentional. I think somebody pointed it out to us.
Right.
At one point, we're like, oh, you have all these women, in leadership positions, and we were kind of like, oh, I guess we do. It's incredible. We're so grateful for it, and to just normalize that. And
yeah, it's a great word.
Yeah,
totally.
After working together so long, can you read each other's minds at this point? Can you just look at each other, know what the other's thinking? Tell me about the shorthand you must have developed by now.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like, Kyra, are you gonna ask Amanda for that money? Or will I? I think it's better coming from you, Audrey. Okay, I'll do that. I'll say Meryl and Sharon in the network asked for it. Good idea. Or maybe it's a coach.
But I'm on to them. I'm on to them.
But I do think having that shorthand has gotten us through. There's been so many crazy challenges over the seasons that if we didn't have that, like, know each other so well, and everyone who works for us so well, and they know the show so well. I mean, think of, like, with COVID and the entire town shut down, and somehow our show just kept right on trucking, and I don't think that would have been possible, or at least would not have gone nearly as smoothly, even though it was an incredible amount of work, if we didn't know that everyone knew each other so well and knows the show so well.
The other thing for me is because I'm in casting, so I'm like literally casting 2 seasons from what is actually airing. So the amount of trust that they put into me while they're creating this magic and this amazing thing that's happening on stage that you all are watching every single week, I'm out there looking and finding for singers, and there's never been a moment when Audrey or you have come to me and been like, Michelle, what's happening over there? They just have this innate trust, and it gives us the ability to kind of continue seeing these incredible singers, and that it speaks volumes. I mean, I love working with these women so much.
Amanda, what were you gonna say something? Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say, I think just even as a whole, the entire show is so supportive of each other, like even the men. If someone has an idea, everyone just rises to the occasion and figures it out, or if there's a challenge thrown our way. This show, we love a challenge, like people just wanna figure it out. Like it's definitely like, we don't ever like to say we can't do it, it's definitely how do we solve the problem. COVID was the hardest thing we've ever had to experience because the whole show was already shot, and our live shows were coming back in May, and we had 6 live shows to produce, and everyone was in lockdown, and it took the entire team to figure out how are we going to produce 6 live shows remotely, and it was the hardest thing I think everyone can collectively say we've ever done. But I mean, we did it, and I'm so incredibly proud of the team. Like our lighting designer had like his wife like packing lighting kits, like FedExing it out to our artists. Like, I mean, it really was like all hands on deck, and extended to like family members of people who work on the show just to get it done. So it was a pretty incredible effort.
Yeah, I think our show is one of the only shows that did not skip a beat in COVID, nor somehow we skated through all the strikes and everything. It's just been a blessing and crazy. And we've also been talking about, like, there've been, I know a topic for production and things is like so much production has left LA, and The Voice remains produced in LA. Yeah, we're really proud of that. And I have to say, it hasn't been easy to thread that needle to bring down price points and figure it out. Our show, we've always traditionally produced 2 seasons a year, and each season has averaged between as high as 46 hours, but more an average in the mid-30s, and doing that twice a year, and the throughput of that from casting on down is pretty tremendous. And then a few years ago, we realized to keep pace with the financial demands being asked of us, that it would be best if we shot them together at the same time, completely intertwined. And it was a head scratcher. Like, we knew it would save and work, but how to figure that out took everybody again being like, okay, let's figure it out, and let's sit there with a calendar, and one season is red and one season is blue, and
That's the secret sauce.
yeah,
Color coding.
Color
Audrey
coding.
had these laminated cards made up for everyone on the staff. That on one side had all the coaches and rules and rounds for one season. On the other side was for, because every day you were like, what season
where am I?
Yeah, where am I? Oh, we're on season 24. Flip to the red side of the card. Oh, that's Blake and Kelly. You know, yes, they'll
But
be
it
showing
worked.
up today.
It worked.
Yeah.
The TV landscape since The Voice premiered has changed so much, and The Voice, it came out with a bang. Like, it was the biggest show, you know, that premiered that season, and it hasn't slowed down since, where fans are still obsessed with knowing, like, who's gonna be the coach in 2 seasons. Like you said, like, people are thinking ahead, and whenever there's a new winner, it's our top story that night and going into the next day. What do you attribute, like, what is the magic here?
Honestly, a big part of it is the format. The format is great. I mean, we've put so many different people in those chairs and it's worked. I do have to say, I think we were collectively geniuses with the first 4. I mean, that just set us off. The last piece of that puzzle was Christina Aguilera. Like, we needed a voice to launch a show called The Voice. But yeah, I mean, that combo of CeeLo, Christina, Adam, and Blake, nobody had an idea that Adam and Blake would get along. Adam has frequently joked that at the night before Get to Know the Coaches party, he didn't know Blake was his co-talent. He thought it was just like, I don't know, somebody's friend. I mean, he just like did not know. And like, he was sort of like, who's that guy? He's like, that's Blake Shelton. So, I mean, they didn't have a rapport, but they soon did. I mean, they're all just great, articulate. We had no idea if it would work. It was a big hold your breath. I also like to say day 1, I mean, think about it. You're launching a show called The Voice, big red chairs, they turn. What could be the worst thing that could happen the first day of shooting? Well, let me tell you, it happened. The chairs didn't turn. So, I mean, it was like we tested them, and then it was like, okay, everybody's here, everybody's in the show. Like, let's go. It's like, the chairs aren't turning. So, yeah, we got through that. You know, we were all just holding our breath, like, someone's going to come out. Are the coaches going to turn their chairs? Are they going to be picky? What are they going to say? What are they going to say to each other? And like, as soon as it started, it just rolled, and it was funny, and it was great. So we were like, yes, thank you.
I think the other thing, though, is that no, like, from the audition process on, no one's getting torn down. It's just about supporting each person that, you know, graces the stage, you know, and then reality, you know, the backstories. It's like you're really rooting for these people, and I think that's a big part of it, too.
Kind-hearted. That was new. It was, like, distinctly kind-hearted. For the first time, the power was given to the contestant, the artist. They got to choose where they wanted to go. They, through voice alone, turned a chair. They forever will never wonder if they had what it would take to turn a chair. There's so many things with the format that worked. We were nervous the first time we swapped a coach. Would it work? It did. It now has become one of the key things to keep the show fresh without jumping the shark. People also often ask, how do you keep the show fresh and you know, keep people coming back? And it's really hard. I mean, we're constantly, and by the way, if anybody has any great ideas, don't hold back. We're always looking, but it has to fit with the core values of the show, and there's a big sort of global voice committee that keeps in touch with, I don't know, the 100 voices around the world. There's so many, and a lot of the innovations that other countries may have had don't necessarily fit with the sensibilities of the US. So
I also think as much as it's a love fest up here, we all genuinely believe in the process of what's happening with the artists and their journey, and I know Erin mentioned it's like an A&R process, but the level of detail and attention to these artists, even leading into the blinds, I think is different than other shows as well. You know, we're giving them vocal lessons. They're in band rehearsals with a world-class band. They're getting wardrobe fittings, and they're getting the love and attention of all of these amazing craftspeople, and it shows, I think, on screen.
Well, it's also it's that show that it never makes fun of people. It's everyone is being brought on because we think they're actually really good, and that's why we always talk about it's coaches, not judges, and I think that is something that the viewers love about the show.
There is, and you all touched on this, there's this electric feel on set, near the trailers, with the artists, with the coaches. What has it been like for those of you, especially who said you became moms at the start of the seasons, and seeing your kids? I'm sure they want to come to set and play in the chair and all of that. What is that like to have this family feel too at the show?
Well, the joke is my son does not want to come.
Neither does mine. He could care less.
He could care less. I mean, there was a brief moment where he was so into Nick Jonas, but that's gone. He did used to tweet poop emojis at Alicia Keys, so that was great too. But he liked to come to set because my assistant would have to take him to the theme park while I was working. She was like, "Can I come to work, Mom?" I was like, "Okay." But no.
I remember my daughter and her cousin coming to set, and I was standing with them, and who comes bounding around the corner but Adam Levine, and they were, of course, obsessed with Adam. And he was like, "Oh, hey, nice to meet you." And they both were just, they speechless, couldn't utter a word, and it made their, year. They dined out on that for a year.
For me, the family stuff is a little bit different in terms of the singers themselves. So Malin Jarman, who was one of the winners, has the voice of an angel and is an angel, and she actually came, and sang at my dad's celebration of life, which was last summer, which was amazing. And then the one singer who has had the biggest impact was actually Luke Wade, who was on season 7. He was Team Pharrell, made it all the way to the lives, and he actually now works with me in casting, has booked and found some amazing singers, been winners on the show. He is the dearest of dearest people to me, and we actually recorded and wrote a Christmas song this last year. So,
I want to hear it. You have many children.
So for me, a lot of the love comes, I love these women and all of this, but there's also a lot of family that happens amongst the singers and the artists themselves. I still stay in touch with so many, but those two had a very big impact on me.
I got full body chills. I'm sure everyone did too, hearing you say that.
I was just gonna say, when Snoop Dogg came last season, Eli had to come to set.
There have also been a lot of, we used to joke with the coaches that the red chairs were like a fertility chair because they all ended up getting pregnant, having babies. Amanda's always working out the schedule
I do not have a baby.
No, but she's always working the schedule around nursing. There were nannies. It was a very, it's always been a very family-oriented set. Yeah, it's been great.
And that's what I like about it. That's why I say we're a family, because I can bring my twin boys that's 11 and say, okay, they're safe. They're going to go with Amanda or they're going to go with Brittany. So I love that part of it, that we just know each other's kids and, take care of them.
And where's Crafty?
And where's Crafty? No, to add to what HiHat said, that's so true. Like, you're welcome to bring your kid anytime. It's a welcoming environment. And your kid will find a home. My kid was selling paper clips back to everybody who would buy.
And my kid is making comments for all the departments, and whenever the audiences, we have live audience, they want to show off and dance for them. So
they would dance for the audience.
They'll dance for the audience. So unlike yours, you're like, he doesn't want to come to
guy. I don't know what he's doing. He's on an e-bike riding around. That's what he's doing.
Aside from everyone who's been here for so long, so much of the crew has been with the show. What is the secret to fostering this environment and having the crew also stick around for so long and come back season after season?
Well, I think we were joking, it's called 2 seasons a year, and people were really psyched for that. And again, especially now, I mean, it's a big deal. It's a big deal to be able to work in LA and tuck your kid in at night and work locally, not only for all of us, but the coaches. That's a big selling point for coaches. A lot of them have lived here. So, I mean, John Legend has 4 kids. He absolutely wants to have dinner with his kids and not be out on tour. So, I don't know. I think that's a big part. But also, like, aren't we rad? I mean, he doesn't want to work with us.
And I would love to wrap by asking each of you, what is your favorite part of your job?
For me, it's the people and the music, for sure.
I have 2 answers. For me, it's my team. I love my family. They're like a family. I so enjoy their company, their creativity. We have the best time. We're the life of the party. And truly, like I said earlier, just like witnessing the transformation of individuals, like seeing someone just like grow and blossom is such a gift.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. I often joke that we're actually just working at a music camp, and it's on TV. Like, you get so lost in the magic and the art of it that you forget that you're actually making television too. So I think the artist journey for sure for me is top.
That's the same for me. Just seeing them from the beginning and when they blossom on stage, it's just like I said, we did it, you know? I feel like we all win when we see that.
I think for me, similar, it's the music. I think this show, I feel so incredibly blessed that I've got to do this job for so many years. And it's like, I'm reminded, like, I could be in my office so stressed out working on something, and then you just go downstairs to the stage and you hear this like incredible performance, and music is so healing. Instantly, I'm not exaggerating, but instantly I'm like, I love the show. Like, like I'm not, it really, the stress just goes away. Like instantly, it's just it just really soothes the soul, and I'm just very lucky that I get to work in that environment.
Ditto, 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 ditto. This is the best job in Hollywood, and I get to make hair dreams come alive, and I just love everything about this show, and the people, and all of you, and the contestants, and it's the best job, and I love doing hair. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. There's countless times when I just feel like I've been like, how am I at work right now, you know, and just getting a front row seat to watch. I think you had a clip originally of Gwen real-time coaching that artist to like, no, this is how you perform, and we get to sit there and literally watch these master classes of John Legend and Gwen Stefani and all these people, and you see these artists transform literally before your eyes, and it's so moving, and it's absolutely priceless, and we're so lucky to have a front row seat to it.
My favorite part is when we get to call the singer and say, congratulations, you've been selected for a blind audition. It's the most amazing, magical thing you can do. Yeah.
Thank you all so much for joining us today. Just a reminder, I'm sure you all know very well that the show airs Mondays at 8 p.m. on NBC, and it streams the next day on Peacock. And I feel so inspired leaving this room, and it's perfect for International Women's Month. Thanks for all you do. And congratulations on everything. Thank you.